Welcome to UXL, where you can learn new skills anytime and anywhere. Visit uxl.com to explore our full course selection. This lesson is part of a larger course. Check the video description below for a link to the full course where you can enroll. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. For your convenience, the course cover displayed on your screen provides the complete course title and lesson title. Let's proceed with the lesson. Lesson: Monitoring and Reporting Compliance. Monitoring and reporting compliance with international labor standards is a critical function for senior professionals in human resources, particularly those holding an SPHRi certification. This responsibility entails ensuring that organizations adhere to established labor standards, which are designed to protect the rights and well-being of workers across the globe. The efficacy of these standards relies heavily on the rigor and reliability of monitoring and reporting mechanisms. Effective compliance monitoring begins with a thorough understanding of the relevant international labor standards, such as those established by the International Labour Organization. These standards cover a wide range of labor issues, including but not limited to fair wages, safe working conditions, and freedom from discrimination and forced labor. According to the ILO, over 190 conventions and protocols have been established to set minimum standards for labor practices globally. These standards serve as a benchmark for organizations to ensure they are upholding the rights of their employees. Accurate monitoring of compliance requires the implementation of robust internal audit systems. These systems must be designed to regularly assess organizational practices against the stipulated international labor standards. Internal audits involve a systematic review of various aspects of the organization, including payroll records, employee feedback, and workplace safety reports. The goal is to identify any discrepancies or non-compliance issues that need to be addressed. For example, an audit might reveal that a company is not providing adequate safety equipment to its workers, which could be a violation of ILO Convention No. 155 on occupational safety and health. In addition to internal audits, external audits conducted by independent third parties can provide an unbiased assessment of an organization's compliance with labor standards. External auditors bring a fresh perspective and are often more adept at identifying issues that internal teams might overlook. These audits often culminate in detailed reports that highlight areas of non-compliance and recommend corrective actions. A study by Locke, Chin, and Brous found that external audits are instrumental in improving labor practices in global supply chains as they hold organizations accountable and foster transparency. Effective reporting of compliance is equally important and involves documenting and communicating the findings from compliance audits. Transparency in reporting ensures that stakeholders, including employees, investors, and regulatory bodies, are informed about the organization's adherence to labor standards. Reports should be clear, comprehensive, and accessible, outlining both the areas of compliance and non-compliance. The Global Reporting Initiative provides a widely accepted framework for sustainability reporting, which includes labor practices as a key component. Adopting such frameworks can enhance the credibility and comparability of compliance reports. Moreover, the role of technology in monitoring and reporting compliance cannot be understated. Advanced software solutions and data analytics tools enable organizations to automate the tracking of compliance metrics, facilitate real-time monitoring, and generate detailed reports. For instance, platforms like SAP SuccessFactors and Workday offer compliance management modules that integrate with other HR functions to provide a holistic view of labor practices within the organization. These tools not only streamline the compliance process, but also provide actionable insights that can drive continuous improvement. The human element remains crucial in the compliance process. Training and development programs for HR professionals and managers are essential to ensure they are well-versed in international labor standards and proficient in using compliance tools and methodologies. Continuous education helps in keeping the team updated with the latest regulations and best practices. For example, workshops and certification programs offered by professional bodies such as the Society for Human Resource Management and the Human Resource Certification Institute can enhance the competency of HR professionals in managing compliance. An illustrative example of effective monitoring and reporting can be seen in the apparel industry, which has faced significant scrutiny over labor practices. Brands like Nike and Adidas have established comprehensive compliance programs that include regular audits, transparent reporting, and collaboration with independent organizations like the Fair Labor Association. These companies have made significant strides in improving labor conditions in their supply chains by adhering to rigorous monitoring and reporting standards. However, challenges in monitoring and reporting compliance persist, particularly in regions with weak regulatory frameworks and limited enforcement capabilities. In such contexts, multinational organizations have a responsibility to uphold international labor standards even when local regulations are inadequate. This often requires going beyond mere compliance and adopting proactive measures to protect workers' rights. For example, companies operating in countries with lax labor laws may need to implement additional safeguards, such as establishing grievance mechanisms and providing training on workers' rights to ensure compliance with international standards. Furthermore, the integration of worker feedback into the compliance monitoring process is essential. Employees are often the first to notice violations of labor standards, and their input can provide valuable insights into the effectiveness of compliance measures. Establishing confidential reporting channels and encouraging employee participation in compliance audits can help identify issues that might otherwise go unnoticed. A study by Brown, DeHegia, and Robertson highlights the positive impact of worker participation in compliance monitoring, showing that it leads to more accurate assessments and better outcomes for workers. In conclusion, monitoring and reporting compliance with international labor standards is a multifaceted process that requires a combination of robust audit systems, transparent reporting practices, advanced technology, continuous education, and active worker engagement. By adhering to these principles, organizations can ensure they uphold the rights and well-being of their employees, foster a culture of accountability and transparency, and contribute to the global effort to promote fair and ethical labor practices. The role of senior professionals in human resources is pivotal in this endeavor, as they are entrusted with the responsibility of implementing and overseeing these compliance mechanisms, thereby safeguarding the integrity and reputation of their organizations. This concludes the lesson. We trust you found this video informative and engaging. To enroll in the complete course, please use the link provided in the description below. At UXL, we are committed to your learning journey. Each course offers a certificate of completion, online support, and downloadable resource files to enhance your experience. If you found our content valuable, we invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to supporting your continued pursuit of knowledge.